I find that like being the oldest and being like the daughter, they have like more of a, not necessarily a grasp, but like I'm a lot closer to my parents, and I find that like they like that. Whereas with my brother, they were like, oh, like he drifted, whatever. He's a guy and he's gonna do whatever. But like I can't necessarily even just be like, oh, I don't want to talk to you guys anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but like we are close.
I think like for me, for the past like 5 years, I was living alone, and then like now since I've graduated in the pandemic and like moving back in with my parents, there's like a newfound appreciation for them, and like learning more about their character, like trying to understand them more. And I never did that when I was a lot younger. I had to take that step away from them to then come back and realize, okay, like you guys are somewhat normal.
Right.
And I feel like being adult now, you kind of see them more as like people versus like, oh, these are my parents.
I would say my mom and I could be friends, you know? I don't want to gas
Oh,
her
that's
too
so
much.
cute.
I think I seek the approval of my mom the most.
Yeah.
Hey, like I know I have my dad, like, you know?
He's cool.
You know, we're homies, we're great. But my mom, I think I seek approval from her the most because I feel like she favors my brother. Maybe because he kind of like straight out a little bit, you know? So I think she wants to find more of a connection with him, and she kind of can get frustrated or take it out on me at times.
100%.
Yeah.
So like I seek her approval more than my dad. Like my dad's just kind of chilling there. He's more, I would say he's more emotional than my mom. I can talk to him about whatever, but I don't necessarily want to because I want to have the harder conversations with my mom.
I get that.
Like I want to bond with her more and be able to call her my best friend.
Yeah, it's because we didn't, and I think maybe this is in part something to do with the South Asian culture in general, but we don't talk about these things.
Never,
Like,
there's no sympathy.
There's no, it's like I'd be writing, you know, a major exam, and I'll be like, you know, like I have literal anxiety. Like I have not booked my exam because I feel like I'm not ready, and I just keep pushing it off because I'm anxious. And it's like, no, just get the anxiety.
There's no such thing.
Don't think about
it.
Yeah.
And at some point, finally, they're coming. And I think that's why, you know, what you said earlier about how your parents are, you know, learning to be more progressive is important, because that's what I feel with my parents. Like they are suddenly having these conversations. My mom literally just today in our family group chat sent a picture that was like a quote about mental health. And every time I mentioned something about mental health to her before, she would literally say something like, stop talking about mental disease and this and that, because they didn't know how to differentiate it, right? But now in our family, we all start talking about it, like extended family included. So it's kind of, I think, that part of it too.
It's mostly like, oh, how can you be depressed? We've done so much for you.
Yeah.
You know, we've given you X, Y, and Z. We've came to this country, like this, that, and the other. But it's like, there's more to it. Like, it's not
just
about you.
Yeah.
You can't like focus it on that.
Exactly.
I find that like being emotionally connected to us was never a priority for my parents. Like ever since I was young, I always heard like, we're not your friends from the playground, you know, like we're not your friends. Like don't think that we're gonna agree with you or have to agree with you on anything. Like what we say goes. Like they definitely parented by fear. So like I feel like that's the reason that a lot of like, and I find that a lot of South Asian parents do that, and I feel like that's why mental health like issues are so prevalent within the South Asian community, because it makes you anxious, right? And I feel like that's the thing my parents are grasping the slowest, that like it's important to have like emotional bonds with your children, otherwise they will never come to you with anything, and you won't either.
For sure. That's interesting, because growing up, so my mom and I didn't have the best relationship. It was not healthy at all. But growing up, she always wanted to have a healthy relationship with me, but I just could not. So she would say these things. She'd be like, you know, like all these other girls with their daughters and stuff, and you know, with their moms, like they're always best friends. They go to get their nails done, they go to the park together, they go for walks and stuff, but you know, you never do anything with me. Which is interesting now, because now I'm the one saying, why are you always going to work? Like, come hang out with me, you know? Like, hang out with me. Or she, like, leaves for a few hours. I was like, why didn't you take me to run errands? I would have came with you. So it's interesting to see that dynamic kind of flip. Like you said, like, spending time away from my parents and stuff, and actually learning who I am as a person, and how those experiences growing up, and those traumatic experiences, in fact, kind of shaped me who I am, and seeing my growth, and now seeing my parents' growth with that as well, because now they're more understanding about mental health as well. My dad actually a few months ago, he, I don't know, the TDSB or something, they emailed him like about like an online workshop on like mental health and how to like help your kids like through COVID and like the pandemic when school is over or something. And he was like, oh, should I like make a Zoom account for this? Like, should I like go to it and stuff? So it was like, when he said that, I was like, oh, that's kind of heartwarming to see, because if I was back when I was in high school, like that would never have been the case. My parents wouldn't even batted an eye about like, oh, let me go like sign into this like mental health workshop kind of thing. But now it's nice to see, and it's very, very heartwarming to see that my brother's getting that growing up, right? And like he's not going through half the traumatic experiences that I would have gone through as well.